over!
Shots of 11 commentaries. Hey guys, this is Shadsubs11 here. This next commentary was a requested one by PK Starstorm 1UP. Now, when it comes to Sonic 06, everyone can agree that it is overall a hated game. However, a lot of reviews I've seen on the game end up sucking harder than the game itself. Darkness Accurse's review sucked, the Nintendo Freak's review sucked, and don't even get me started on Game Dude's mega shit review. I already covered that one, it sucks so much ass. Now, there's another review I've seen on it which, truth be told, isn't as bad, but I still have some problems with it. The review was by Son Sally. So now let us stop talking and get on with the show.
1991, Sonic was created. At the time, the king was Nintendo with the NES. Sure, Sega was the only one that could
Sega?
For Nintendo, they were just bugs.
Now that of course changed when they launched Sonic the Hedgehog.
With all this speed and the revolutionary levels, come on, how could people not like this new character? So it began, Sega vs Nintendo, Sonic vs Mario, with sequels for multiple consoles.
Okay, what does this past overview have to do with the game you're reviewing? If you want to give a history of Sonic games, that's cool, but save that for a different video, and don't forget what the subject of the video is.
Both make good and bad steps, but it all changed when the gaming companies were forced to go from 2D to 3D. Now, Mario made a great step with Mario 64, but Sonic... well, with games such as Sonic R and Sonic 3D Blast...
Sonic 3D Blast wasn't even 3D anyways.
The Adventure series did make people think that maybe, just maybe, Sega was going back to its roots. Well, after the death of the Dreamcast, yeah. Sonic Heroes? Let's show the real power of Team... What?
Okay. I'll agree with you that the dialogue from Sonic Heroes was ludicrously cheesy, but bad dialogue doesn't make the game itself bad. How did the game play? What gameplay aspect made the game bad?
Shadow the Hedgehog? A gun? Are you out of your freaking minds?
Great, now you're complaining about the guns in Shadow the Hedgehog. Just because the game has guns doesn't mean it automatically sucks. And don't give me any of this, Sonic games shouldn't have guns because Sonic is a platformer bullshit. My counter-argument for that, Jack 2.
So as you can guess, Sonic was in a crisis. Not a minor one, but nothing out of this world. Now, Sega needed a good 3D Sonic game.
You already mentioned the Sonic Adventure games.
Or the next-gen Sonic. So naturally, people got hyped. Now, to make sure the game will sell well, they needed to launch it for Christmas and also for the launch of the PS3. Problem was that in 2005, the game wasn't even a game at all. They were just figuring out how to make it. So to accomplish their goal, they did probably the worst thing you could do. Rush it. So many people say it couldn't get worse for Sonic and Sega, right? I mean, they couldn't make a worse game even if they tried. Right? Right? So here's the gameplay. Like it?
Some might like it. It's really all down to personal preference.
Look how Sonic goes! Whee! This sucks. Look how slow he goes. I mean, come on.
Meh, Sonic's been much slower than this before. Sonic Labyrinth, anyone?
And yeah, controls are just as bad as they look. They are sensitive and responsive and glitchy.
Sensitive and responsive? How does that work? Also, I never had much problems with the controls, with exception to the snowboard controls, as they were as annoying as fuck.
Now sure, this is the perfect excuse to say that this is the reason why the game sucks. No, I'm really sorry, but as the nerd said, this is a shit sandwich and we all have to take a bite. So, when the game begins, you have this decent cutscene, which is the introduction to the horrible story. This is the deal. There's this guy called Mephiles, who wants to have the power of Iblis. Now, Iblis is a powerful creature beyond our imagination. Of course, it's not God. Now, Ivalice is inside Princess Elise, which I know you've said a lot, but she's a clear rip-off of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, God,
I mean,
did
just
Game
look
Dude
at her.
inspire you?
By the way, that's bullshit. Why? Cause it's fucking realistic.
Oh my god, they tried to make a Sonic story realistic? Someone call the police! But in all seriousness, why does it matter about how realistic the story is? Does that affect the gameplay at all?
Now I'll get to the graphics in a sec, but first, the story. Elise and Sonic fall in love. So much. Yeah, I'm not joking. Now getting past that, yeah, the story's crap. Now moving on to graphics, they suck. Why? Well, first, as I said, Sonic should never be realistic. Why? Because he's a fucking cartoon, don't you understand?
This is all sounding very familiar.
Graphics are realistically ugly when they should be stunningly cartoonish.
Oh, fuck you.
Second, because this game was rushed, they also had to rush the graphics. What do I mean? Well, the graphics get a little blurry when Sonic runs. Now, not only he does that slow, but Shadow also has the same problems. Only difference, he has more glitches!
Elaborate. I barely had any glitches with Shadow's gameplay. Sonic's gameplay seemed more glitchy to me.
Now, Silver. Well, he's a totally different situation. He looks interesting with his psychic powers and all, but it's just so simplistic that not only half the time his powers won't respond right, but also he's slower than Sonic and Shadow!
Not all of the characters in the Sonic series need to be fast, and Silver is a different character to Sonic and Shadow in that he's not as fast. Instead of speed, he relies on telekinetic powers. That's at least better than just having all the characters being cheap speed freaks. I'm looking at you, Jet.
Thought that was impossible? Well, hell fucking no!
As if one
Now,
piece of ear rape
is
wasn't
this
bad enough.
Bad enough for ya? Well, not for Sega. The rest of the gameplay is horrible, with its boring level design,
Again, how is the level design boring? Wouldn't hurt to go into any detail, would it?
or maybe its glitchy speed stages, which, by the way, you have to dodge everything on the screen. And to make it worse, you can't control your jump, so you'll probably die. Yeah. Then there's the cities, which are bullshit.
You mean just like in Sonic Adventure? Hub worlds are common in video games, so what makes these hub worlds worse?
They're too big, everything looks the same, and have no purpose whatsoever. Now, is there a good thing about this game? Yeah, the music rocks, but unfortunately not the sound. The voice acting is, well,
That tornado's carrying a car!
yeah, it sucks.
Oh yeah, because that one voice clip totally sums up the whole voice cast. Like I said in my commentary on Sonic and Tails for Life, the 4Kids voice cast is a mixed bag. You have some good ones, and others not so good.
More than it did with Shadow the Hedgehog. So, is there any questions why did Sonic start to suck? Now whoa, don't get me wrong, I still love Sonic, and it sure doesn't suck now, with great games such as Unleashed and Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing.
What happened to Sonic 4?
So, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I... Yeah, I didn't have so much fun making it. I mean, my camera is broken, my mic is almost broken, and to be honest, editing this was a piece of fucking shit.
Nothing much else needs to be said, apart from when it comes to games like Sonic 06, or indeed any of the 3D Sonic games, you should try the game out for yourself and make your own judgment on the game, because reviews like this are never the most reliable source. Now, this review was a better effort over Darkness and Game Dude at least, but the arguments still lacked elaboration, he moaned about realism in the game way too much, and it seemed more rambling than reviewing. So, that's the end of my commentary. This is Shadsource11 saying goodbye, take care, and now everyone, let's drink to Fred's YouTube account getting closed.
It's official. You suck.